Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. The Prime Minister launches ambitious Startup India initiative in Delhi. Government promises entrepreneur-friendly tax regime in the upcoming budget. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi goes into the confrontational mode over GST, tells the government to accept party's demand and get the bill passed. BJP delegation meets the president over the Malda incident, accuses TMC of indulging in vote bank politics over the violence. Defence Minister strong warning to Pakistan, says India has reached the limit for tolerating extremism, promises strict measures to counter them. An Islamist extremist lays siege on a hotel in Burkina Faso. 23 people killed. Even the security forces secure the hotel and free all hostages. The top story this evening, the NDA government is likely to make some startup-friendly tax regime announcements in the upcoming budget. Addressing the Startup India campaign today, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley also said that the government is working on easing the process of doing business.
पूरे देश में इन नए उद्यमियों के द्वारा एक स्टार्टअप का पूरा नेटवर्क कैसे खड़ा हो। हम दुनिया में स्टार्टअप की दुनिया में भारत नंबर 1 पर पहुंचेगा। आज हम नहीं है। भाइयों बहनों, इस स्टार्टअप को मुझे बढ़ देना और इसलिए मेरा संकल्प है आने वाले दिनों में स्टार्टअप इंडिया और देश के भविष्य के लिए स्टैंड अप इंडिया।
Exactly 5 months after he shared his vision of Startup India from the ramparts of the Red Fort, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has set in motion a chain of events that will let new entrepreneurs realize their dream of setting up businesses. Addressing the Startup India conference in the national capital on Saturday, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley promised startup-friendly tax measures in the forthcoming budget.
What is then going to be the key difference once the startup movement picks up? And if I put it in a very simple sentence, it's going to be the eventual freedom from the state that Indian entrepreneurship will now enjoy. It will only be a limited support of the state in terms of its programs so that there is an easier availability of capital. There is a friendly tax regime which is available, and there is an unleashing of the energies of an Indian entrepreneur.
The Finance Minister also assured entrepreneurs that both the banking system and the government will make resources available to them. He also said the government is taking steps to ease the process of doing business.
I think another very significant difference of what makes it a landmark event is a final break or the ultimate break that you have with the conventional license Raj of India.
Several entrepreneurs, both from India and abroad, and investors attended the day-long event. They exchanged views with government officials on various aspects of the startup culture and related policies. Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi has told the government that his party would lend its support to the contentious GST bill as soon as its objections were accepted. At an event in Mumbai, he also accused the government of not reaching out to the opposition on the matter. The government in turn challenged the Congress party to a debate on the bill in Parliament.
Now with experience,
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was in Mumbai on Saturday, fielding questions from management students. And the hot topic turned out to be the same that he has been fielding in the political circles too, GST. Denying that his party was deliberately stalling the bill in Parliament, Rahul said the Congress had objections that need to be addressed.
that the day these conditions are accepted, the day the condition of a cap on tax is accepted, the day the dispute resolution point of ours is accepted is the day we will pass the GST. It will take 15 minutes.
The Congress vice president also accused the ruling BJP of stalling the same bill during the UPA regime.
The Congress party actually brought the GST to the table. It was conceptualized, it was designed by us. Mr. Narendra Modi, who was Chief Minister of Gujarat, Manmohan Singh ji had umpteen conversations with the current Prime Minister, and he did not allow GST to pass.
The government, however, dismissed these allegations outright. MOS Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi reiterated that the Congress should bring all its objections to the table and debate them.
जीएसटी जैसे बिल किसी पार्टी के बिल नहीं है, किसी व्यक्ति के बिल नहीं है, ये देश के विकास से जुड़ा हुआ है, देश की तरक्की से जुड़ा हुआ है, देश के रिफॉर्म से जुड़ा हुआ है। और इसलिए हमें लगता है जिद और अहंकार उन्हें नहीं करना चाहिए, और इस तरह का जिद और अहंकार का नतीजा है कि आज कांग्रेस इस हालत में खड़ी हुई है।
The GST bill is stuck in the upper house of parliament. The government has been making efforts to gain the Congress party's support, having meetings with the senior party leadership. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The BJP today handed over a memorandum to the president on the Malda issue. The party has requested that the president seek a report on the entire matter from the West Bengal governor. The CPIM has also called for an independent probe into the matter.
Even as BJP workers held a protest in Kolkata over the incident in Malda, a delegation of its leaders met the president in Delhi. The BJP alleges that anti-national activities are taking place in Malda and the ruling TMC, instead of stopping them, was indulging in vote bank politics.
इस संबंध में हमने महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी से कहा है कि आप अपने स्तर पर गवर्नर से रिपोर्ट बुलाएं और राज्य सरकार और केंद्र सरकार से संबंधित रिपोर्ट मांगेंगे तो शायद देश की आंतरिक सुरक्षा के लिए जो खतरा बांग्लादेश की बाउंड्री के पास वेस्ट बंगाल में हो रही है उसको कहीं न कहीं मदद मिलेगी.
The TMC in turn said the BJP had no right to go to the president with the issue. It also reiterated that the Malda incident was not communalist but criminal.
If it's opium smuggling and money across the border, why bring a communal incident? It's a criminal incident. It's a border problem. Right? And there's a tension there. But their strategy is to paint everything with a communal brush, especially with 100 odd days left to go for the election.
While the Congress asked the BJP not to politicize the issue, the CPM has called for an independent probe into the matter.
We are fighting on the ground, the left front, in Malda district, elsewhere in the state, that there should be a proper independent inquiry, and also all who were involved in the violence, they should be brought to book.
भाजपा वहां जाके सिर्फ राजनीतिक फायदा उसका लेना चाहती है. मालदा में शांति बनाए रखने की कोशिश होनी चाहिए और शांति के प्रयासों में जो लोग बाधा पहुंचाते हैं उनको कतई नहीं जाने देना चाहिए. इसलिए मेरा मानना है कि वहां पे सांप्रदायिक सद्भाव बिगाड़ने की किसी भी कोशिश को बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाना चाहिए.
The incident pertains to 3rd January when violence followed the remarks made by Hindu Mahasabha leader Kamlesh Tiwari in Kaliachak in Malda. A police station was burnt to the ground. Several vehicles went up in flames. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, employing a tough stance on the Pathankot terror attack, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar today warned Pakistan that India had tolerated enough. He also talked of tougher measures to counter terrorism from across the border.
Sending out a strong message to Pakistan in the wake of the Pathankot attack, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar said on Saturday that India had so far tolerated a lot, but no more. Parrikar also promised strict measures to tackle these problems and said the results would be visible soon.
ये होना नहीं चाहिए. ऐसी सैन्य ही कर सकते हैं. बहुत हो गया. सैन्य की जो क्षमता देश की थी वो खत्म हो गई. हम लोग तो एज अ रक्षा मंत्री मेरी खत्म हो गई. तो इसके ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ जरूर करेंगे. आपको दिखेगा एक बरस राह देखो क्या होता है.
Even as Parrikar sent out this warning to Pakistan at an event in Jaipur, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was questioning the government's preparedness to respond to terror attacks.
The National Security Advisor is dealing directly with the attack. It's not his job. The National Security Advisor's job is strategy, not tactics. There are people who are masters of tactics. They're called the NSG. It's their job.
In view of the Pathankot attack, the government has decided to carry out an internal security audit of all military installations.
जो प्राइमरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है वो बेस का कमांडर जो होता है उसकी होती है। सो उनको सबको अपने अपने एयरफोर्स बेसिस को सिक्योरिटी ऑडिट करने के लिए कहा गया है।
The Defence Minister also said that precautions are being taken to prevent officers from falling prey to honey traps, as was evident in the case of an Indian Air Force officer recently. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A day after the odd-even scheme ended, severe traffic snarls were witnessed in many parts of the national capital. During the early hours of the day, severe traffic congestion was reported from several parts of the city. Delhi Traffic Police's Facebook page had traffic alerts popping up every hour as Delhiites came out on the roads. Kejriwal's effort to reduce pollution had received an overwhelming response across party lines. The Delhi government also ended up with a collection of over 2 crore rupees from around 10,000 challans issued in the 15-day trial run. The AAP government has already announced that it will provide subsidy on purchases cycles from the money collected as challans. According to the government's plan, after car rationing pilot scheme is wrapped up, the government will constitute a committee to work out further modalities of the idea. Time now to take a look at what else is making news around the country and nationwide. Union Minister Smriti Irani arrived in Amethi to date on a 2-day visit. Irani addressed a public meeting in Tiloi, followed by participating in a Khichdi Bhoj organized by the locals. The 2-day visit is reportedly aimed at motivating party activists in view of the 2017 assembly polls. Goa has extended the ban imposed on Sri Ram Sene founder Pramod Muthalik for 2 more months. Muthalik and his associates were banned from entering Goa in August last year over security concerns expressed by the police. His petition challenging the ban was also dismissed by the Goa bench of the Bombay High Court. Following an Allahabad High Court directive, the district administration in Ghaziabad has banned the use of polythene bags starting the 22nd of January. The decision was taken at a meeting between the district magistrate and various stakeholders. As many as 500 turtles were found dead in Jharkhand on Thursday. This comes 3 days after the police released at least 5,000 tortoises seized from a lorry into a dam in the Dumka district. Forest Department believes stress could be the reason behind the deaths. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
I am extremely happy that I got the opportunity to go into science and help the world produce more food. There is no doubt that for the future generations, science is the best career. Giving the opportunity to the younger scientists and inspiring them is the most important for the future development of our science.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Gurdev Khosh, renowned geneticist, on Rajya Sabha television.
Subhash Chandra Bose gave a revolutionary edge to India's freedom struggle. Netaji, as he was popularly known, was elected Congress president twice, but left the organization in 1939 following differences with Mahatma Gandhi. He founded the Forward Bloc and the Kisan Sabha before leaving for Singapore to organize the Indian National Army. After failing to secure Soviet Union support for India's freedom struggle, he joined hands with Germany and Japan to fight the British. His slogans Dilli Chalo and Jai Hind energized millions of youngsters in India. Bose went missing in 1945 after a plane crash in Taiwan.
It was popular during Mughal era and gained prominence during Akbar's rule in 15th and 16th century. It came all the way from Iran and Central Asia in attractive colors. Since jade changed color when it came in contact with arsenic, they started utensils like plates, jars, bowls and even hookah with it, and thereby avoided getting poisoned by rivals.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. And now international sanctions against Iran are being lifted today. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif arrived in Vienna for talks with the US Secretary of State John Kerry over the nuclear deal. The International Atomic Energy Agency is expected to release the report confirming that Iran has completed its commitments under last year's nuclear deal, triggering implementation day and lifting of the sanctions. The IAEA is in charge of verifying that Iran has carried out all nuclear-related steps are required in the deal it struck with the United States, Russia, China, Britain, France and Germany. The report, if issued, would mark the consummation of the July 14, 2015 nuclear agreement. Under the deal, Iran agreed to shrink its atomic program in exchange for lifting some of the sanctions, which would allow billions of dollars of investment to flow into the country.
According to JCPOA, immediately after the release of the report by the IAEA verifying Iran's implementation, we have the implementation day. So we expect to have the implementation day today. I believe it's not just an important day for economic activity in Iran. It is going to open the possibilities, vast possibilities in Iran for economic engagement.
In a dangerous situation that unfolded in the early hours of Saturday in Burkina Faso, at least 23 people were killed and hundreds taken hostage when Islamist gunmen stormed a hotel in the capital. The siege finally ended after 3 attackers were killed and all the hostages were rescued by security forces. Experts are calling it part of a new wave of terror attacks.
Gunshots and explosions rocked Ouagadougou when Islamic extremists invaded the Splendid Hotel and the Cappuccino Cafe on Friday night. The militants took control of the 5-story hotel, which is popular with UN staff and foreigners, burning cars outside and firing in the air to drive back crowds. One woman, Mariette Quenu, who escaped from the Cappuccino Cafe unscathed, but whose little sister was shot in the leg, said she had to lie down and play dead to avoid getting killed.
Dans la salle, ils ont commencé à tirer, tout le monde s'est couché à terre. Et dès que tu soulevais la tête, on t'abattait directement. Donc il fallait faire semblant seulement d'être morte. Et on venait même à nous toucher par les pieds pour voir si quelqu'un est vivant ou pas. Dès que tu es vivant, on te tire dessus.
The assault began around 8:30 p.m. local time. The attackers torched cars and fired in the air to drive people back from the building. There was an intense gun battle followed by at least an hour of relative quiet, in part as security forces prepared their bid to recapture the hotel.
Donc il était sur moi. Donc c'est un blanc. Non, c'était pas un blanc, c'était notre chauffeur, celui qui a conduit voilà le véhicule qui était juste devant moi.
On a essayé de se débattre pour quand même sortir. Moi personnellement, ils ont tiré mon bras. J'ai une fracture ouverte. Voilà. Grosso modo, ce que je peux dire. Ils ont brûlé mon véhicule aussi. Voilà, ils tiraient sur les uns et les autres. Bon, peut-être que nous, on a eu la chance que ce soit seulement sur le bras.
It was not immediately known how many people still remained inside the Splendid Hotel, but security officials said 126 people had been freed. An Al-Qaeda affiliate known as Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb claimed responsibility online during the attack. The attack follows a raid on a luxury hotel in Mali last November, in which 2 attackers killed 20 people, including citizens of Russia, China and the United States. There have been attacks by militants in other countries in West Africa in recent years, and the vast majority of those killed have been Africans. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, a French clinical trial went horribly wrong, leaving one person brain dead and 5 others in a critical condition. At least 90 people were administered the experimental drug. Hospital officials have, however, refuted claims that it was a cannabis-based drug.
In one of the worst clinical trials in France, one person was left brain dead and 5 others are in critical condition after being administered an experimental painkiller. The drug was made by Portuguese company Bayer and its trial was conducted by a private laboratory in Rennes. The French Health Ministry said the 6 male patients aged between 28 and 49 were in good health until they took the oral medication.
Un accident d'une exceptionnelle gravité s'est produit dans le cadre d'un essai clinique de phase 1 réalisé à Rennes. 6 personnes ont été hospitalisées dans ce CHU depuis dimanche dernier.
Initial reports claimed the drug was a cannabis-based painkiller, but the health minister denied it later.
Ce médicament ne contient pas de cannabis. Il n'est pas davantage un produit ou un médicament dérivé du cannabis.
Of the 5 men battling for life at a hospital, 3 could have permanent brain damage, while the 4th may suffer irreversible neurological problems. The hospital says there is no known antidote to the drug.
Les autres patients, leur tableau s'est aggravé sur les premiers jours de cette semaine. Et aujourd'hui, on peut dire que 4 des 5 autres patients ont des troubles neurologiques.
As many as 90 people took part in the trial conducted by French-based company BioTrial, which has an international reputation and has carried out thousands of trials worldwide since 1989. The incident is one of the worst in French medical history and comes just months ahead of the new European Union regulations on speeding up clinical drug trials that is due to take effect in May. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for all the other international news and Global Buzz. Taiwanese people cast their votes to elect a new president and parliament today. Taiwan looks set to elect an independence-leaning opposition leader as its first woman president. They hope that she can be the one to usher in a new round of certainty with China, that claims that the self-ruled island as its sacred territory. Many voters expressed hope for a better country and leader. The Indonesian police have named an Indonesian, Bahru Naim, as the mastermind of Thursday's deadly attack in Jakarta. They also arrested 3 men in a pre-dawn raid. The arrest on Friday came less than 24 hours after the shooting and bombing rampage. 5 of the dead attackers were the attackers themselves. Naim, who spent 1.5 years in jail for illegal possession of weapons in 2011, funded the attack. He is now believed to be fighting for the ISIS in Syria. A bill that will prohibit underage marriages in Pakistan has been withdrawn. This was followed after Muslim clerics declared the ban to be un-Islamic and blasphemous. The proposed legislation called for rigorous imprisonment of up to 2 years in prison for those who organize child marriages. The original law stipulates that the age of marriage is 16 for women and 18 for men, but religious scholars believe it's not in accordance with Islamic teachings. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank in Beijing was officially launched today. After 800 days of intense preparation, the opening of the bank shows China's commitment to contributing to a global economic governance. The AIIB was first proposed in 2013 and formally established on December 25th last year. The bank is an intergovernmental multilateral development institution. It will be focusing on Asia's economic integration. Time now for all the sports action and sports beat. Rohan Bopanna and Florin Merguia had to be content with the runners-up finish at the Sydney International after losing the summit clash to Bruno Suarez and Jamie Murray. The 4th-seeded Indo-Romanian pair failed to match Friday's feat of Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis as they lost the final 3-6, 6-7 to the unseeded Brazilian-Britain pair. Former IPL Commissioner Lalit Modi has decided to drop a $3.3 million civil lawsuit against Chris Keynes in connection with a match-fixing scandal. Modi had lost a court battle against Keynes in 2012 after the Kiwi player sued him for claiming that he was involved in match-fixing. Keynes was later accused of lying under oath in this trial, but was cleared of the charge of perjury in the UK last year. The embattled Russian Athletics Federation elected its new president amid the challenge of rescuing the federation's reputation from doping scandals. A regional sports minister was unanimously elected as the crisis president. The country's athletics body has been suspended from Olympic track and field over grave doping allegations. Well, that's it from Askapai.